710 ESPN. The radio home of the purple and gold and the home of Lakers talk.
After starting the season 3-0 at home, the Lakers' 5-game road trip hasn't gone their way as the Pistons handed them their third road loss of the season.
The final score in Detroit, Pistons 115, Lakers 103, and for my money, Michael, that's the worst loss of the year.
It's a new edition of Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
The final stop of the road trip hits Memphis tomorrow night. Can LeBron and the Lakers close it out with a win?
You know, right now, I think we won one game on this road trip, 5-game road trip, I think. So we're 1-3 right now. So it would be good to get a win to finish it off for sure.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Lakers Talk is on. Here's Andy Kamenetsky.
What is up, everybody? Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN LA special night. We are typically Lakers Talk, heard on 7 to 9 on Mondays, 7 to 9 p.m., unless preempted by a game that we may be broadcasting over at 710, whether talking about World Series, what was going on last week, the Rams, or, in the case of last night, the Lakers, who dropped their fourth game of a 5-game roadie, not making this up, in Detroit against the Pistons. 115-103, and we're going to talk about this loss because it was very frustrating. It could be potentially costly come April once you start taking the full inventory of the Western Conference standings, where everything shakes out. It's already looking as competitive as everybody expected, and if the Lakers, say, end up in the play-in tournament yet again, if they have to fight their way to get into the play-in tournament yet again, if, let's not go there, it's only 7 games in and the Lakers are 4-3. Let's not lose our heads, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, the Lakers missed the play-in altogether. This loss against Detroit is the type of game that everybody is going to look back at and point fingers towards. Obviously, the loss was worrisome because it may potentially involve the immediate future with Anthony Davis and his availability. We will get into that more in detail coming up, but he is currently questionable for tomorrow's game in Memphis with a left heel injury. And also the game potentially marked a change in the rotation that we're going to get into as well. We're going to be joined also by Khobi Price at 6:30, covers the Lakers for the SoCal News Group. He is a fixture at practices and games. He may actually be on the road with the team right now. So awesome to get his perspective on where the team stands after 7 games. Also going to be joined by Molly Morrison, NBA content creator for Bleacher Report and a Grizzlies super fan. She's a really fun follow on Twitter at Molly Hannah M, and get her perspective on the 4-4 Grizzlies, who you may have heard gone through a lot of turmoil over the last couple years, but they have Ja Morant back. They have a couple of old friends that are currently on the roster right now for Memphis. So get into all that over the next couple hours, give you all a break from election coverage, give myself, if nothing else, a break from election coverage, vote counts, swing states, doom scrolling, all that stuff. Again, we all could use a break right now, not the least of whom is your host. We'll talk about, though, a potentially different stressful situation. That is the Lakers' performance in Detroit last night. Again, the Lakers lose 115-103 to the Pistons. There are a couple explanations for what happened yesterday, neither of which are particularly good, but in certain ways they go hand in hand with each other in terms of controllable elements that need to change or need to be adjusted towards, need to be addressed and accounted for. We entered this season knowing that the Lakers would likely be vulnerable to quick, athletic, explosive guards, scoring wings, those type of players, trying to stop them, particularly in transition. The Lakers were very bad defending in transition last year. They remain really bad defending in transition this year. And other than this year's availability of Gabe Vincent and an increased role for Max Christie, there were no other new wrinkles added to the team this year to maybe address those issues. And thus far, the presences of Vincent and Christie have not helped out along those lines. D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves remain the same defensively challenged backcourt as they were last season, even if they give effort, play at the top of their relative games, which, to be clear, was not the case for either one of them last night in Detroit. Those two have a ceiling defensively, particularly as a duo, and it's not high. Case in point, against the Pistons, the Lakers often had Rui Hachimura starting possessions guarding Cade Cunningham, the Pistons point guard, which is not obviously the ideal assignment for Rui Hachimura. And in certain respects, it's unfair to put him in that position to begin with. But my guess is, beyond whatever approaches the Lakers might have been taking towards preemptive switching, things like that, I am guessing that they just recognized right off the top, Cade Cunningham is too big, too strong, too explosive for Reeves or D'Lo. You don't want to tax LeBron from the jump in the fourth game of a 5-game roadie, and somebody needs to mind the store in the paint, so that's going to be AD. That's how you end up with Rui stuck doing this. It did not go well. This is a pattern that we've seen, the Lakers guards struggling to check the guards in Sacramento, the guards in Phoenix, even the guards in Toronto in the second half of that eventual win, but guards ranging from all NBA caliber to just starting caliber guards or wings. Like, this is a thing, and it's something that J.J. Redick may need to address via lineup or rotation changes. We may talk about that too as the show goes along. But until then, the Lakers need to make do with their weakness and find the best ways to offset this. And they did not do that last night because it felt like they approached this game not really wanting to be there in the first place. Their body language, other than Anthony Davis, and I would say, interestingly enough, and he's somebody that's going to come up later in the show, Cam Reddish, a surprise entry into the chat. Did not expect Cam Reddish to be involved at all, but Cam Reddish actually ended up playing a pretty notable role in this game. Nobody other, to me, in the first half, other than Anthony Davis or Cam Reddish, seemed to be approaching the game with the requisite energy, the requisite focus, the requisite execution, seemingly just wanting to be there, like the give a damn factor. I don't think it was consistently there for anybody other than AD and Reddish. And that showed up a lot defensively, particularly in the issues I talked about when it comes to checking the Pistons' quicker, more athletic, stronger guards and wings. But also, too, I thought it came out offensively. I thought they were sloppy in their shot selection, sloppy in the execution. Last week, you may recall, had Cranges McBasketball Tim_NBA as a guest. He is somebody that specializes in, among other things, tracking set plays, tracking different variety of plays for teams all over the NBA and especially the Lakers. He is the co-host of the Lakers Exceptionalism podcast. So he really is familiar with the Lakers. And he tweeted out last night, quote, "Not a good half-court offense game from LA. Second lowest set play caliber on the year, second lowest coverage fit on the year, second lowest organized offense rate on the year, second lowest help counter rate on the year, third lowest expected points per possession on the year. Compared to what we've seen from LA, they were less organized. The sets used were worse sets. They didn't call the right sets for what the defense was in, didn't attack the defense overloading on post-ups. That has a team lineup and player impact. Guys in lineups played worse." And to me, this in a lot of ways comes down to the discipline of being willing to run your sets. The discipline of treating a team like the Pistons that everybody expects to be in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes that you know, even though they are young and they are explosive, they are athletic, there is still a ceiling when it comes to experience and basketball intelligence, the know-how, all that stuff. And the Lakers are, on paper, a better team than the Pistons. They should win that game. But this is also a game that the Pistons are going to be geeked to play. Teams get geeked to play the Lakers, and if they are in their own house and they know that's going to be a packed house because the Lakers are there, they're going to want to show out. And the Lakers are going to have to at least have the discipline to go out there and run a game plan and stick to their offense, stick to their principles, be smart out there. And Anthony Davis, I thought, had a very telling quote after the game where he said, we're just two different teams right now. One game, we're this team who showcased it can be one of the better teams in the league, and then the next, we're this team who I don't even know who we are. So we just got to be better. Anthony Davis is an incredibly important part of this team, and the Lakers can often look like two different teams depending on when Anthony Davis is on the floor, and there are concerns at least that he may not be on the floor tomorrow in Memphis, or if he is on the floor, he could be limited or compromised. Talk about that coming up next. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Hey, football fans, there is nothing sweeter than a cold glass of Stella Rosa and watching your team compete. But Stella Rosa wants to make it even sweeter and hook you up with the chance to win an experience to the biggest game of the college football season. You could win 2 tickets to the game, airfare, and a hotel for you and a friend. Head over to ESPNLADreamTicket.com to enter the Dream Ticket Sweepstakes presented by Stella Rosa, America's favorite semi-sweet, sparkling wine. Please celebrate responsibly. Must be 21 or older to enter.
Electric toothbrushes, whitening treatment, and a grand prize of Invisalign from Beverly Hills Ortho. Enter now at ESPNLA.com, and remember, you're always smiling at Beverly Hills Orthodontics.
Park, party, and play at Hollywood Park Casino. LA's premier card room now open 24/7. Tune in all this week to Travis and DeMarco to win the ultimate game day prize pack from Hollywood Park Casino. That includes tailgate party passes to HPC and game day tickets at SoFi. Listen for your cue to call 877-710-ESPN and don't miss your chance to win the ultimate game day prize pack. Tailgate passes to HPC and game tickets to SoFi, Hollywood Park Casino. Park, party, and play. Must be 21 and older to enter.
Ricky Gervais, Mortality.
Remember those jokes you used to have when we were kids, like, Doctor, Doctor, I keep thinking I'm a pair of curtains. Well, pull yourself together then. I've done a woke version. Bloke goes to the doctor. He goes, Doctor, Doctor, I keep thinking I'm a pair of curtains. And the doctor goes, well, you are then.
Ricky Gervais, live on stage, Hollywood Bowl, Saturday, May 31st. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Mature audiences only. For more, visit RickyGervais.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text RULE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text RULE to 42424. That's RULE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All the latest surrounding the Lake Show, right here on Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
After the third loss of the road trip, head coach J.J. Redick and the squad need a bounce-back win tomorrow night.
What was the general demeanor, and how do you think they're taking it being 1-3 on this trip so far?
We're all disappointed.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
No. We're just two different teams right now. One game, we're, this team who we showcase to be one of the better teams in the league. And the next, we're this team who, I don't even know who we are, so just gotta be better, It's on the starters, start the game, obviously. But we just got to be better as players to come out, execute the game plan, and do what we're supposed to do on both ends of the floor. Some halves we get it, some halves we don't. Some quarters, we do, some quarters we don't. So, we got to put a full 48 together. But we can't continue to, do this if we expect to, do anything this season.
Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. We are about 15 minutes away from being joined by Khobi Price from the SoCal News Group. He's going to talk about his impressions of the Lakers. Molly Morrison, NBA content creator for Bleacher Report and a Grizzlies nut. She's going to be joining in about an hour to look at tomorrow's game. By the way, also shout out to the late Quincy Jones, passed away yesterday. It is not in any way an overstatement to say that the world of not just music, but entertainment in general would be radically different had Quincy Jones not been around. Just staggering influence, and we heard what a lot of people know as the theme to Austin Powers playing that. How much happier would the world be if that song was just playing on a loop everywhere you went? Like that song just accompanies you.
And people are dancing like in the intro of Austin Powers, just dancing.
If that song, so I think so many of the world's problems, the show's going on right now during a very tense election that's happening today. I feel like so many of the world's problems would just be solved if that Quincy Jones song was playing at all times. And frankly, a lot of other songs Quincy Jones produced or had a hand in. So again, shout out to Quincy Jones. And are there rights issues if we play this for the entire show?
I don't think so. No.
Is there a problem? Maybe we do. All right, so I had mentioned the quote that we just heard from Anthony Davis in the last segment about how the Lakers often operate as two different teams. It feels that way to Anthony Davis. Sometimes they look fantastic. Sometimes they look not so much. And what's interesting is both versions of the fantastic team or the not so much team, they both seem quite dependent on Anthony Davis. And so far, he is holding up his end of the deal. 7 games in, he is averaging nearly 33 points a game, nearly 12 rebounds a game, 3 assists, over 1.5 steals and blocks each, 57% from the field, almost 79% from the line, 12 trips to the line a game. The only, blemish you could say with Anthony Davis would be he is shooting about 17% from behind the arc, but I don't consider that really a thing because I have never counted on Anthony Davis becoming a three-point threat. I've never thought that's really a thing. AD is also, too, finally leading the team in field goal attempts, like by a pretty wide margin, something like 20-16 between him and LeBron, the next closest. He is also the leader in usage by another wide margin, and it is important not to overload Anthony Davis, particularly in light of what I'm about to get into, but at the same time, this is what you want from your superstar. And this is what the Lakers have needed from Anthony Davis, particularly with LeBron shifting into pushing 40, season 22. No, really, there's only so much longer you can expect him doing this at this level. I have concerns, to be honest, that we are in that stage. And we may just learn how dependent the Lakers are on Anthony Davis tomorrow in Memphis or in the near future. In the fourth quarter, late against the Pistons last night, AD planted his foot to catch a pass from LeBron, and you could just see him immediately wincing, immediately in pain. The Lakers quickly took a timeout, and AD was being addressed by his trainer. He ended up finishing the game. AD has been very, very determined to play in all the games, converted a lob, but there was clearly a lot of pain and a lot going on for AD, a price to pay. He said afterwards, I'll talk to my trainer and just kind of figure out what exactly is going on. I've been managing it since this summer, and honestly, my goal for every game is to be on the floor, and I just kind of landed directly on the spot that's been killing me, so we'll figure it out. AD is currently listed as questionable. Dave McMenamin, in a report yesterday, said that he has not been ruled out for Wednesday, but, quote, sources caution, with the foot issue plaguing the all-star big man from the end of last season through the Paris Olympics, it will be a day-to-day situation. When I saw that, I was like, wait, what? Like, AD's been dealing with this since before the Olympics, much less during the Olympics, like stretching back, I'm assuming, to the playoffs, which, to be clear, AD was a monster in the playoffs. He was really good for Team USA. But like last we heard from Anthony Davis, he was feeling great after the Olympics. He said that his body felt in great shape, great conditioning, that he felt strong, that the Team USA time could help him establish a rhythm. And now we're hearing that this is something that he was dealing with for like the last several months. And it takes you back to all the concerns that you have about Anthony Davis and injury history and availability and just a certain degree of fragility. And I don't mean that as an insult against Anthony Davis. I think the heat that Anthony Davis takes for injuries is largely undeserved. I think AD plays through a lot more stuff than people give him credit for. He was very available last year. But there are reasons to be concerned about it. Look, we'll see if he plays in Memphis tomorrow. The Grizzlies, by the way, they got a bunch of weird injury situations going on their own, like Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart. They didn't play Monday night against the Nets. They are listed right now as week to week, and I don't know exactly where they are in the cycle of a week. John Conchar and Luke Kennard are, I believe, questionable. Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams have not been available since the beginning of the season. But here's what is really interesting about who is available for the Grizzlies and how much it directly impacts AD's availability, how much he is able to play, 60%, 70%, 90%, looks like AD, whatever. The guys who are available are basically Ja Morant, who lives in the paint. He attacks the paint relentlessly, attacks the basket relentlessly. Obviously, that involves AD as the back line. And Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey, Santi Aldama, who's actually off to a terrific start this season there, I believe backup power forward. And old friend Jay Huff. Remember him from the G League. Jay Huff, he's with the Grizzlies, has a real-life big boy NBA contract. So Memphis right now, they lead the league in points in the paint, 10th for second-chance points, 9th points off turnovers, 6th in fast break points. These are all areas that potentially affect protecting the lane, potentially affect areas where the Lakers are vulnerable anyway. And depending on AD's availability and what percentage he's at, the list of options, at least that we know about, beyond AD, include Jackson Hayes and Jackson Hayes. Like, that's basically it, other than going smaller with LeBron or Rui. I mean, I don't know if there's a chance Armel Traore gets called up. I don't know if Christian Coloco is even up to speed.
Was off the injury report today, too.
I don't know if he's up to speed to be put in a game, but even if he is...
Go out there and just guard the paint.
He can try, but I mean, Koloko has not played NBA basketball in 18 months, something like that. And he, he only has one season under his belt. And for what it's worth, I am cautiously bullish that Koloko could maybe be helpful at some point over the season, but it's a lot to throw on the kid right out of the gate. We will see how AD is available, what he looks like, what he looks like Friday if he's available when the Lakers are back home against Philly. But the vibes at the beginning of the season felt immaculate, and a couple weeks have passed, and the vibes feel more worrisome. We will discuss said vibes and other things involving the Lakers with Khobi Price, SoCal News Group. Lakers Talk, that's coming up next. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Just like the Lakers have a game plan on the court, you should have a Go Safely game plan off the court. If you plan to drink, plan for a designated sober driver. If you're the designated sober driver, move over a lane when you see amber flashing lights on Caltrans, law enforcement, or other emergency vehicles or tow trucks. If you can't move over safely, slow down and be work zone alert. Go Safely, California, from the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Paid for by Cars for Kids.
Hey guys, it's Sedona here. You know it's hard to find a good dentist for your kids, someone who they can trust and enjoy going to the dentist with. Luckily, we found Children's Dental Fun Zone. With 17 locations across Southern California, Children's Dental Fun Zone specializes in children's dentistry and orthodontics. With state-of-the-art equipment and personal attention your children deserve. To book your child's next appointment, visit their website, cdfzone.com. That's cdfzone.com. Or call them at 800-717-KIDS. That's 800-717-KIDS.
With the season in full swing, stay up to date with Lakers emails sent straight to your inbox. Each email offers something different. Lakers pregame emails get you game day essentials before tip-off, from projected starters to game times, while Lakers weekly emails gives you exclusive Lakers content created especially for subscribers. Never miss a minute of the action by signing up now at lakers.com/emails. That's lakers.com/emails.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 1-800-983-6530. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-983-6530 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 1-800-983-6530 right now to schedule your vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-983-6530 now. This advertisement is paid for by Heritage for the Blind.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky on 710 ESPN.
It was a disappointing loss in Detroit last night as AD battled through a hurt ankle.
And Anthony Davis is now down on the ground, writhing in pain, holding his left ankle.
I've been managing it since this summer, honestly, and just, trying to do everything before games, be on the floor, and just kind of just landed directly on the spot that's been killing me. So and we'll figure it out.
It's the home of the Lake Show and the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Back to Andy Kamenetsky.
Two hours of Quincy Jones. I can get behind this. I can absolutely
We need
get behind
five.
This is your directive, DeAndre, since you refuse to watch Purple Rain. You are at least going to keep up the Quincy Jones directive. Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, ESPN LA 710. Joined right now by Khobi Price. He covers the Lakers for the SoCal News Group. You can follow him on Twitter at KHOBI_Price. Are you with the team right now on this road trip, Khobi?
I am, yeah. I got to Memphis maybe, I guess at this point, 8 hours ago. So, yeah, I'll be at the game tomorrow to close out the road trip. So, yeah, been here the entire time. The full, it's about to be 11, 12 days. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what day it is right now. I just know that there's a game tomorrow, and I will be there.
Look, Khobi, I think I'll be honest. I'm not sure anybody today in particular knows what the hell is going on.
It's the election.
Yeah,
it's the election.
I am not. I've turned off all of my alerts. I'm not looking at Twitter. I need to be able to focus for the next hour and a half. So, all right, the Lakers are coming off a very disappointing loss to the Pistons, 115-103. The best they can do on this trip, which, as you said, finishes up tomorrow in Memphis, 2-3 on the roadie. Before we get into more global questions about the Lakers, what jumped out most to you about the loss in Detroit?
Yeah, I think for me it's more so they looked I kind of wrote about this too. They looked a little fatigued. They looked slow. Detroit just made them look like Detroit just looked on a different level athletically in terms of speed, quickness, sharpness. And keep in mind, Detroit was also playing on the second night of a back-to-back. They traveled from Brooklyn back to Detroit, granted not the longest flight, but they had just picked up their second win of the year the night before. So it wasn't like they were playing off, a rest advantage or fresh legs. The Lakers were in Detroit before the Pistons were coming back from that game. So, but they looked worn down, but they also looked like, we've seen this a little bit where, guys look a little slow-footed, defensively, they're behind the play, they're a step behind the play, maybe multiple steps behind the play. So that was one of the biggest things that jumped out. Just from the jump, Detroit was more physical, they were quicker, they just moved with a different urgency that the Lakers just seemed to lack from the opening tip.
I was going to say the urgency factor jumped out to me as well. Like just the Lakers to me, and look, maybe looking slower and less athletic and all that other stuff can create a certain appearance. But to me, they looked like a team that didn't particularly want to play this game. Like they were not really up for it, and maybe they thought they could just half-ass their way through the game. Sometimes it can be difficult to know where disinterest begins and lack of athleticism and speed ends. But did you get any sense that they had walked into the game kind of expecting to win it?
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
Everyone's aware that Detroit is, they've been one of, if not the worst team for the last half decade in the NBA. So, but even JJ said it beforehand that they know, like, if you just follow the NBA, just on a surface level, Detroit's, they're competitive. They're they're not a pushover anymore. Like, yes, I think they're 3-5, maybe 3-6, but they're not just a team that you can just, roll the ball out and win off of talent like the Lakers did when they played the Pistons last year in Detroit. This is a team that you have to actually take seriously. And, their guys are developing, whether it's Kate Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, and then they have the vets. So JJ Reddish spoke about it pregame about how, they know how hard it is to win the NBA and how you can't take them lightly. So whether they did or not, I don't know if I would go that far, but it didn't feel like, they took them lightly from that standpoint. I think the Lakers should be aware about what the Pistons can bring to the table. And they should also just know that they're the Lakers. You're going to get every team's best shot, regardless of how good that team is. So and the thing is, like, most of this team, I mean, just look up and down the roster. They've been a Laker for a while. So this shouldn't be surprising to get a team's best shot. This is the norm for them.
Talking with Khobi Price, covers the Lakers for SoCal News Group. Follow him on Twitter at KHOBI_Price. All right, moving out more big picture for the first 7 games of the season, what are your general impressions of the team, or what are a few things that have jumped out at you, whether good, whether problem areas, a little bit of both?
I mean, I'll start with the good just because maybe I leaned a little bit more optimistic side as a human being. I think, offensively, I think they've been good in the macro. They've been good to really good. We talked, last year and coming to this year, we talked about the organization structure, how those things need to improve. And on balance, I think they've been much better. I think getting the offense revolved around Anthony Davis, a little bit more Austin Reeves, that's been beneficial. I mean, look, Anthony Davis, even with his foot issue that we learned about yesterday, his ankle issue, whatever it may be, he's still leading the league in scoring. He's having arguably his best offensive, it's only 7 games, but his best offensive season so far of his career. He's been dominant offensively, and even defensively, he's still been playing at a high level. Austin's had a good start to season. So, and offensively, as a whole, they've been performing well. Now, the last few games, there's been some slippage. They started off offensively really well, and then, we saw Detroit going back to the physicality. Detroit just was, quicker, faster, knock them off their spots. Toronto was like of this road trip, Toronto was just to me like the lone game where it felt like the Lakers, offense was humming and rolling in the way that it was when they were in LA for the first 3 games. But like I said, as a whole, it feels like the offense, they have a direction. Like they've been there, like Phoenix and Cleveland, it got murky. Detroit obviously was Detroit, but as a whole, it feels like they're in a good spot. So that's, I guess, the positive. Anthony Davis has been great, or beyond great, has been amazing. The offense, it feels like it's found some sort of it's stable. It can be. There's going to be ebbs and flows, especially this early in the season, but it feels like there's a nice spot. Defensively, that's where their concerns really, really start to come up, especially in transition. I mean, we've talked about this. I even wrote about it. JJ mentioned over the weekend is, transition defense and pick roll defense. I mean, they're bottom 10 in multiple facets of transition defense, of pick and roll defense.
I'm guessing it's all
the ball
of them,
handler
Khobi.
and the roll man.
I'm guessing it's all of them. I can't think of anywhere where they would crack out of the bottom 10. They're bad at all of it.
Well, yeah. At least, I'm saying just in terms of those kind of play types, defending those sorts of plays, like because those are so significant because when you talk about more so ending possessions, transition defense, and then pick roll defense, that's close to half your defensive possessions right there in terms of how they end. So for them to be bad and just like as bad as they are, and specifically in those 2 categories, that's a concern. That's like something has to get better, or else you're not gonna. I mean, I think depending on where you look, they're either the 21st, 25th, ranked on defensively. You're gonna have a hard time getting above 18. Getting close to the middle of the pack if you can't clean up your pick and roll or transition defense.
Talking with Khobi Price. Talking with Khobi Price, covers the Lakers for SoCal News Group. What else were you about to say?
No, I was going to say that's to me that's one of the biggest concerns. Just because, like I said, that's almost half your defensive possessions right there, and you're just bad at both of them. Like I said, between transition and pick and roll defense.
One issue that I think has become a real problem spot for me examining the team right now is just the lack of bench production. Dalton Knecht leads all regular bench players in scoring with under 8 points. Max Christie and Gabe Vincent, who I think a lot of these issues directly revolve around, they have scored a combined 44 points over 7 games. And Jackson Hayes Jackson Hayes can only score if really spoon-fed his opportunities. Like, he's not somebody that can remotely create his own offense. How do you think the Lakers could go about trying to handle this dilemma, at least until Christian Wood is back or maybe Vando is back and they can increase some options in how they look at the rotation?
Yeah, I think some of it is we've already seen some minor tweaks to the rotation. And I mean, you just gets really granular in terms of, I mean, at one point it was D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis leading the second units to, it was, my bad, D'Angelo Russell and LeBron James to lead the second unit to start the second and fourth quarters. Then it was, I mean, now it's become more often LeBron James. You know, we've seen Dalton would start the second and fourth quarters. You know, that's when he would, get his first playing time. Now he's been coming in a little bit earlier outside of the Pistons game where he didn't play in the second half. He would be coming a little bit earlier into the game, end of first, end of third. There's been back and forth between, Rui starting the second and fourth quarters alongside that, that lineup, or subbing in a couple minutes into the quarter. And obviously last night the Pistons, there's the Cam Reddish injection to the rotation starting in the second quarter. So there have been small tweaks. I mean, I think the biggest thing that's helped, or a tweak that was made that I thought was good, was that we're no longer seeing, or we haven't seen as much Gabe Vincent and Max Christie playing it together without Austin and D'Lo. Like those minutes from the jump I thought weren't going to be good. They weren't, and they moved away from them. They now seem to be having D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves on the floor at all times. So I think they're some of the buttons are being pushed right now. Like, I thought the Cam Reddish injection was good.
Yeah.
I think some of it's just like, we have to remember, it's only been 7 games, and it feels like we're on the precipice. I mean, if things don't turn around, we're on the precipice of a more macro change, a bigger picture change in terms of rotation and lineups. It's at least, before, that's not factoring in Christian Wood, Jerry Vanderbilt, two guys who, I'm going to be honest, if the bench continues to produce and play the way it does, those guys may just have to, both of them, just go right into the rotation, and then you maybe take 2 guys out and figure it out from there. It feels like Dalton should, he's been playing well enough. So then your 8, at least 3 guys off the bench would be Jared, Christian, and Dalton. Then you figure out a 9th guy between Cam, Max, and Jackson, or, you push the rotation out to 10. But I feel like some of the right buttons, at least from a rotation standpoint, have been pushed correctly, at least in terms of the micro changes. I just want to give it a little bit more time. Close out the road trip, go back home. They have 3 home games, and then they have a back-to-back road games against San Antonio and New Orleans. To give it, another week or so before you start messing with it. I was actually talking with Jovan Buha about this. Something that we came up with together while we were talking was that maybe a change is, this is assuming that Cam's in the rotation over Max, going forward or for foreseeable future, whatever it may be, maybe have either Cam or Max sub in for Austin, and Austin's the first guy to come out. And then Gabe Vincent, if he's in the rotation, he subs in for LeBron. And then you kind of get into the normal rotation pattern from there. Because right now, LeBron's been the first sub out, basically going back to the preseason. So maybe that's one change, like another minor change that could be made. But other than that, I just want to see a consistency in terms of when guys play, their rotation, barring injury or foul trouble, just so I just want to get a little bit better feel with the groups that are out there before I start making these bigger changes or start getting to that zone.
Yeah, one big thing, we're talking with Khobi Price, covers the Lakers for the SoCal News Group. Follow him on Twitter at KHOBI_Price. I agree with you. It's 7 games, and you do have to maintain perspective. Even acknowledging with the Lakers, there's often no such thing as perspective. Everything is a 10 on a scale of 1 to 4. It's always a 10. But in terms of just looking at who the guys are and just sort of how they profile, one area, though, that I do think would help this, and I've been, I don't want to say mystified by Redick's reluctance with it, just because coaches are always reluctant when it comes to rookies, but I would like to see JJ play Dalton Knecht more, just because when it comes to the simple issue, like if you break this down in its simplest form, the bench is not producing enough points. As far as the guys who are coming off the bench, who play regular minutes, Dalton Knecht is the only guy who even sort of profiles as a scorer. Have you gotten any sense at all? Because his minutes have been going down since the season began. Have you gotten any sense of what it could be preventing Reddish from, I guess, giving him a little bit longer of a leash?
I mean, not entirely. I will say, though, in terms of that specifically, I mean, if you look at last night, for instance, the Lakers pretty much went with, I think, an 8-man rotation in the second half.
Yeah.
And really, it was more of like a 7.5-man rotation, if we're going to be honest, with the half guy being Jackson Hayes, who didn't play much in the second half. You know, Anthony Davis subbed in for him pretty early in that fourth quarter. I mean, I think if you look at the team, you look at what's been good and you look at what's been bad, I think JJ's been pushing more of the defensive buttons lately. You know what I mean? That's why you're bringing Cam Reddish. You know, think about, you know, the main two guys off the bench yesterday against the Pistons in that second half when they start to make their, you know, try to make a comeback, were Gabe and Cam. And what do they provide? Defense. You know, they're providing perimeter defense. They're providing, you know, a little bit more perimeter defense than you have, you know, anywhere else in the roster, at least at this point. So I think that's part of it. It's not, I don't know if it's not so much a give Dalton a longer leash offensively. I think it's more so they're trying to find some defensive answers more than anything else right now. And offensively, like I said, again, it's been 7 games, and 4 of them I think they've been, or 3 of them they've been really good. 1 of them they've been good, and a few of them they haven't been so good. Or maybe 2 of them they haven't been so good, and 1 of them they were good, and the shots didn't fall. So I think with Dalton, I mean, he's a rookie, and defensively, you know, rookies typically aren't up to a high level defensively. And I think this team, understandably so, especially with the makeup of their team, and the team already kind of leans more offensive oriented anyway, which
I mean, that's the
clear.
personnel.
I mean,
it's really who's on the roster.
Yeah, it's the personnel. It's statistically, it's all of it. So I mean, they're a better offensive team than defensive team, which Dalton can help their strengths. Like, he adds to their strengths, but they need to fortify their weaknesses, which right now are on the defensive end. And I think that's part of the reason why he didn't play in the second half yesterday, because, you know, he played 9 minutes, he went 2 for 2, he knocked down a 3. But at the same time, like, defensively, he's not, I mean, he's a rookie. It's hard to expect for him to be that level of defender as a rookie. But he was still, I mean, I don't love using individual plus minus, especially off of 1 game, but in 8 minutes, he was a -8. Granted, that was all in the first half. He was not their issue. Dalton was not the Lakers' issue. They had plenty of issues, but we know that defensively, that's not what they're asking of him. You know, they're asking more offensively, but it feels like they're looking for more defensive answers right now.
He is Khobi Price. He covers the Lakers for the SoCal News Group. Follow him on Twitter at KHOBI_Price. You will become more informed on the team that you love with Khobi's coverage. Appreciate the time, man. Thank you very much. Safe travels back from Memphis, and talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that was Khobi Price, covers the Lakers for the SoCal News Group. We will get into more of what Khobi had to say, and also take a look, whether coming back or during the second hour, at what might be a revolving rotation for the Lakers, and why, again, 7:15, we're going to be joined by Molly Morrison to take a look at tomorrow's game against the Grizzlies. Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Winning matters, especially after an accident. At calljacob.com, we're here for you when you need a big win. After an accident, go to calljacob.com or call 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB.
Don't you love the sounds of the holiday season? The bells, the sleighs, woohoo! If so, your holiday's now even more magical because now during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, you can take home your favorite Hyundai with some of the season's greatest savings.
Drive away now in one of our most popular models with 0% APR and 0 payments for 90 days. Only during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Offer ends January 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Next Gen is the official plumbing, heating, and AC company of SoCal sports fans. Right now, ESPN LA listeners can book a drain cleaning for just $88. That's right, just $88, and you can keep your plumbing in top shape and ensure you're game day ready. So don't miss out. Call 833-3-NEXTGEN today to take advantage of this limited time offer. That's 833-3-NEXGEN or visit nextgenaironplumbing.com to schedule your $88 drain cleaning appointment today.
NEXGEN, call 833-3-NEXTGEN.
After their overtime win in Seattle, your Los Angeles Rams are on a 3-game winning streak. The Rams are coming back home for another primetime matchup under the lights for Monday Night Football as they take on the Miami Dolphins and try to keep their win streak alive. You don't want to miss this electric primetime matchup. Tickets are on sale now at rams.com/MIA. Again, that's rams.com/MIA to watch your Los Angeles Rams face off against the Miami Dolphins this Monday, November 11th at SoFi Stadium. See you at the Rams house.
ESPN LA and Beverly Hills Orthodontics are teaming up this fall because we want to know who's smiling in SoCal. Go to ESPNLA.com and nominate who you think is making LA a better place. This can be a mentor, a teacher, a coach, a good Samaritan, a youngster who brightens your day. Tell us who's smiling and you could win some awesome prizes like sweet tickets from ESPN LA, Sonic Care electric toothbrushes, whitening treatment, and a grand prize of Invisalign from Beverly Hills Ortho. Enter now at ESPNLA.com and remember you're always smiling at Beverly Hills Orthodontics.
Lakers talk continues on 710 ESPN.
The last stop of the Lakers road trip hits Memphis tomorrow night, and LeBron is staying positive after losing 3 of the last 4.
Keep doing what we want to do. Keep showing up the work and putting the time in and implement what the coaches want to do and staying positive. No matter what's going on the floor, there's always ways we can get better, and sometimes it's not as bad as it always looks. Just get better.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers talk with Andy Kamenetsky right now.
This is Quincy?
This is Quincy.
I did not know that.
Yes, we're going deep into the crates today.
I did not know
we're
that.
We're going deep into crates today, Andy.
Excellent.
This is called Summer in the City, and I don't know if you can name who sampled this, but...
Oh, the Far Side passing me by.
There we go. You get 20 points.
I did not know. I've been doing a little bit of Quincy deep diving. Like, he did a bunch of movie scores. For those who did not know, he was an executive producer of a little show called The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Quincy was everywhere. Everyone knows, obviously, the work with Michael Jackson. He helped break out James Ingram. Just incredible influence.
This is a straight Quincy Jones song.
I did not know that.
Yeah, this is called Summer in the City. To anyone that wants to know
that, but you know what? When in doubt, assume it's Quincy. You're probably not wrong. Wanted to ask both of you guys, Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. Want to ask Funchy, want to ask DeAndre. On a scale of 1 to 10, and I'm just going to leave it open now because I don't want to potentially lead the witness. But on a scale of 1 to 10, both you guys, what have you thought of LeBron's play so far, 7 games into the season?
I give it a 6 right now. I know he's kind of going on cruise control. I don't know if it's cruise control right now. Maybe it's what's before cruise control.
I won't put my car in cruise control. I've never used
it. I don't know what's before cruise control, but he's in neutral basically right now. So I don't get the the hate right now. He's sort of he has to keep. Look, he's 40 years old, so he has to keep his body for March and April more than anything.
DeAndre,
I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. I feel like he is on cruise control just a little bit, knowing that how long the season is. As far
neutral
as,
going down the hill.
They're only 7 games
when you're out of gas.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because on one hand, you guys both may be right. He may be in neutral, in cruise control, whatever car metaphor that does not involve using the gas pedal. And I would understand that. He is season 22, pushing 40. There has been, over the last several years, an element of conservation for LeBron. It is necessary. We saw this in the last couple seasons with Khobi pre-Achilles tear. I'm not talking about what happened post-Achilles, but even pre-Achilles. Like, Khobi would have to do that because Khobi had an insane amount of mileage himself, again, pre-Achilles. So this is normal, and it typically comes out on the defensive end, and teams have to account for it. And again, this is part and parcel. I am concerned, though, a little bit that outside of that one amazing fourth quarter against Sacramento, it has not really felt to me like LeBron is impacting games nearly to the same level that we saw. I'm not even talking like prime LeBron or anything like that, because that would not be fair to LeBron. I'm talking about just the standards of himself last season. Like, I'm not saying he's been bad, because I don't think LeBron has been bad. But by LeBron's standards, it's felt like a lowered floor. And it's one thing for LeBron not to be able to reach the same ceiling because, again, he is pushing 40. And for this season, the main ceiling raiser is supposed to be Anthony Davis, and he's holding up his end of the bargain. You need guys like Austin Reeves, I think especially, to raise his game to at least another level. This team is constructed for Austin Reeves to be the third best player on a legit contending team, and thus far I don't think Reeves is at that level. You know, other guys like D'Angelo Russell, who's been way too inconsistent scoring. Rui's had a bad couple last games. Got to figure out the bench. Like, there's a lot going on that doesn't involve LeBron, and that I think you would expect to, depending on how they come through, raise the ceiling. I'm starting to become a little bit concerned about LeBron's floor. And if LeBron's floor lowers at all, and I want to make it clear, I'm not saying that LeBron is all of a sudden going to be like below top 100 in the league. Like, he's going to somehow crash to like role player ordinary. I'm not talking about anything like that. But if, say, LeBron felt more like a top 35 to 50 player as opposed to top 10 to 20, that's still a really awesome player, but the difference is really tangible. Like, there's a really big difference between consensus 10 to 20 type player versus consensus 35 to 50. Like, 35 to 50 is third best player on a championship team, which is really good. Like, really good player.
Like Bradley Beal.
Yeah, Bradley Beal or Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, I think, would be a great example. Somebody like that. Aaron Gordon with Denver. Like, someone on that level. These are really good players. You know, probably what the Wolves are hoping Julius Randle will be for them.
Or Draymond with the Warriors, in a sense.
Draymond, I think prime Draymond. At this point, Draymond's like such a specific player. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how you'd go about ranking him. Mm-hmm. Like Clay. Mm-hmm. Clay, prime Clay with the Warriors. Or prime Draymond with the Warriors. Whoever you think was second or third. Like, that's still a really, really good player. But if LeBron's floor is starting to put him at that level, then you need other guys to really start raising their ceiling. And again, we're 7 games in. LeBron may be in cruise control. There's been a last couple seasons where LeBron has started, by LeBron standards, a little bit slower, picked it up. We shall see. But it is something that I'm keeping my eye on. I'm going to be watching for. Also, something I'm going to keep my eye on and watching for, the Lakers rotation, because I'm wondering if Detroit marked a change. Talk about that coming up next. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Hey, Cappy, we got to talk about Prize Picks. You got me into this. I love it. I play it every single night in almost every single sport. And for those of you listening out there, it's very simple. There is a stat line for a particular player in one of those sports, and it's as simple as more
ESPN LA and Beverly Hills Ortho are teaming up because we want to know who's smiling in SoCal. Go to ESPNLA.com and nominate who you think is making LA a better place. Could be a mentor, a teacher, a coach, a good Samaritan, or you could nominate yourself. You could win prizes like sweet tickets, Sonic Care electric toothbrushes, whitening treatment, or the grand prize Invisalign. Enter now at espnla.com. And remember, you're always smiling at Beverly Hills Ortho.
We've got you. Right now, you can earn up to $25 in bonus rewards when you buy 2 Sylvania Silver Star Ultra bulbs and 2 Rain-X Quantum Elite wiper blades. More rewards and better visibility at America's #1 lighting destination, AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Offer valid for AutoZone Rewards members. Restrictions apply.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
710 ESPN.
KSPN, Los Angeles.
A good karma brands radio station. All the latest surrounding the Lake Show, right here on Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
After the third loss of the road trip, head coach J.J. Redick and the squad need a bounce-back win tomorrow night.
What was the general demeanor, and how do you think they're taking it being 1-3 on this trip so far?
We're all disappointed.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Now back to Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky.
Brothers Johnson, Strawberry Letter.
Got it, huh?
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Now this I knew that Quincy Jones had been involved with. This I knew. Again, Quincy Jones, his influence, immeasurable, passed away yesterday, I believe at the age of 91. Just incredible.
Still remember
talent.
the scene in Jackie Brown when Samuel Jackson just drives around Chris Tucker and then he kills him.
Yeah, I
For
know.
just drives around the parking lot.
That whole soundtrack is fantastic. The Jackie Brown, which it's funny, I really love the movie Jackie Brown. I don't think it is Quentin Tarantino's best.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I was just about to say, it's up there for me, I think, in terms of quality, but I don't know if it's his best. I think it's my favorite, though.
Yeah.
I think Jackie Brown is my favorite Tarantino.
The cast of characters he has in it. Robert De Niro.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Pam
Chris
Tucker.
Tucker.
Pam Grier.
By the way, if you're interested in Pam Grier, there's a podcast series hosted by Ben Mankiewicz. I'm blanking on the name of the show, but they did like a 5 or 6 part series on Pam Grier, where she does a lot of talking for herself. It's awesome. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm blanking right now, but it's really good. Again, Jackie Brown, great movie, great soundtrack. Checking out too, Lakers Talking, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN, the YouTube chat going on right now for the show. And Robert Williams said, I heard a rumor that Quincy Oliveri and Christian Coloco took a plane to Memphis. I'm not sure about that, but it is interesting that Coloco is not on the injury report right now, which can actually mean that he is not currently with the G League team, because they often list the guys that are currently with South Bay and therefore unavailable for the Lakers. It'd be interesting if he flies to Memphis. Like, he has not played NBA basketball in like 18 months. And for what it's worth, I'm cautiously optimistic about Coloco being able to help a little bit. We're an hour in. I can do it now. Locked On Lakers, everywhere you get your podcast, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Always free, never behind a paywall. And for the sickos who like to watch, there's a YouTube component. I did a scouting report with Sean Woodley of Locked On Raptors, and he covered Coloco's one and only season in the NBA where he was healthy before the blood clot issue. And he said that Coloco showed more than just shot blocking ability defensively. Like he had good instincts in terms of showing out on the perimeter, recovering, being disruptive. He played more than they expected, in part because there were a lot of guys hurt. But he did say that he played, all things considered, well. He thought there was a possibility that he could help the Lakers this year. He was a high second-round pick. He almost got drafted in the first round. So this is somebody that was at least thought of in some ways as a potentially legit NBA player. So we'll see. We'll see if he even gets on the floor. But if nothing else, especially if AD's limited, or really if he can't go, they need size that is not Jackson Hayes and just Jackson Hayes. As far as the rotation goes, this is interesting. A few days ago, J.J. Redick made a rotation tweak that I actually really liked. Khobi Price talked about it in the last hour, where he started pairing D'Angelo Russell and AD more once the reserves started coming in, and then LeBron and Austin Reeves more with different reserves. And that's a reverse from the way the season began, where it was more AD and Reeves, D'Lo and LeBron. The way he's going now is the way things were more paired up last year, and I actually think it makes more sense, particularly the D'Lo and AD piece of it, because I think D'Lo is really good at getting involved with AD. I think he looks for AD more regularly than anybody else on this team, and AD is there to cover for some of the deficiencies with D'Lo defensively. So that was a small to medium-sized tweak that Redick made that definitely, though, matters and caught my eye. Yesterday, though, against Detroit was the first time J.J. Redick made a first big tweak to the rotation. About halfway through the second quarter, Cam Reddish entered the game. And this was a game where the Lakers, I thought their energy was low, their athleticism was lacking, their speed was lacking. They looked like best or most generous interpretation, older, least generous interpretation, disinterested team. And Cam Reddish came in and I thought changed the energy of the game. I thought he changed the intensity of the game. He ended up getting basically all of Max Christie and Dalton Knecht's minutes in the second half. The two of them did not play at all. Max Christie only played 4 minutes in the game. And I thought Cam Reddish did a lot of really good things. And plus minus does not tell the entire story of a game. Like any stat, it needs to be taken with a certain, grain of salt, context, whatever. But Cam Reddish finished the game plus 10 in a game that the Lakers lost by 12, and he only played 14 minutes. Like, that is basically impossible to do. I mean, he was the only guy in the plus. That is impossible to do unless good things are happening while you're on the court. And J.J. Redick said after the game, in so many words, that Cam Reddish earned another look. And by the way, if you want to weigh in, 877-710-ESPN. If you want to weigh in on the Detroit loss, if you want to weigh in on rotation, anything like that, 877-710-ESPN. I would not be surprised at all. You've got Redick talking about this yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's hear it.
Exactly what Cam did, just a defensive presence, somebody who is willing to fight. He certainly, earned some trust tonight, but we'll obviously evaluate tomorrow and see what Wednesday looks like.
And I don't blame JJ for going here. First of all, again, Cam played well. And if nothing else, he played well enough where you could say he earned another look. Max Christie and Gabe Vincent have both been very problematic for this team. They are not producing offensively at all. They've scored 44 combined points in 7 games. When they're out there, I think they feel very redundant because neither one of them is scoring. Neither one of them is playmaking. Neither one of them is really generating any type of offense.
I feel like, though, the way Cam Reddish came in, it was all energy and effort.
Yes.
What the Lakers were lacking the whole game, right? So he's picking guys up 94 feet. He's making them work. He's turning them. He also had ended the game with 5 rebounds. So he's doing those things.
Which also, I think, if you're going to take away Christie's minutes, DeAndre, you want to see somebody make up for the rebounding because that is something Christie does well. If Cam Reddish is going to give you that type of rebounding or close in his minutes, you can start looking past the offense, particularly if you're not getting any from the guys that he'd be taking their place anyway. It also speaks to why, again, if you're going to go with Reddish, Reddish in 23 minutes has not scored. And I'm not saying that to pick on him. I'm just saying he hasn't scored. That's why I think you got to give Dalton Knecht a longer look, just because he is the only guy off the bench that scores at all. And also, JJ has talked about wanting this team to take more threes, and they should. They are still dead last in the league in three-point attempts, and they're actually taking fewer than last year, where they took too few. Dalton Knecht per 36 minutes among guys who actually play on this team leads the team in attempts. He's third on the team in percentage. I don't think you're actually going to get not just the scoring you want off the bench, but the production, the three-point volume that you want, unless you just start giving Knecht more minutes and more opportunities. And you're going to have to live with some rookie mistakes, some defensive liability. But at the same time, I don't actually think he's killing them defensively. I mean, he may not be helping, but I don't think he's killing them. And then in the meantime, you guys can weigh in if you. I feel like he at least potentially profiles to give them something that's missing.
I mean, with the offense, the way they run it, they come off a lot of down screens and pin downs. And the moment he comes off a down screen, he's looking to score, he's looking to shoot. And the moment, honestly, when that ball goes up, it's like you can guarantee it's going in. I would say 75% of the time, because he's been efficient shooting the three ball. But I mean, I feel like with Gabe Vincent and Max Christie, the shot has not been flowing at all. So if your shot's not falling at all, then what else can we utilize you for on the floor? Because on defense, you're getting beat in transition. You're not getting back. And like I said, Max Christie is doing a good job of rebounding, but we need that scorer. We need that guy to come in off the bench and be like a spark plug. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. If nothing else, you want to keep the strain off the starters for their production and not provide a bigger burden on them. I mean, particularly AD, it's not like he doesn't have enough.
Is expectation too high for these role players? I mean, I feel like when you look at it, the workload for Anthony Davis is hey, man, we got to feed you the ball every single time. He's putting up between 32 to 35 points a game. He's getting double-doubles every single game. He's been our best defender, but there's no production whatsoever with these role players.
I'll say this, if the expectations are too high for the role players, the Lakers are in a lot of trouble moving forward, because I don't know what other options they have. We'll see what the role players and everybody else looks like in Memphis tomorrow, and we're going to preview that game with Molly Morrison. She is a NBA content creator for Bleacher Report. She's also a massive Grizzlies fan, watches all the games. She's a really fun follow on Twitter, so we're going to get her perspective on her Grizzlies. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Want more fun watching the NBA? Try playing Sleeper Picks. Download the Sleeper app today and pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. Points, rebounds, assists, and more. If you're right, you can win up to 100 times your cash. Right now, Sleeper has a special offer for NBA tip-off. New users who deposit $100 will receive a $200 bonus in site credit. Just use code 710, and your first deposit up to $100 will be tripled. That's code 710. Must be at least 18 years old. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 800-426-2537 for help.
Are you looking for your next game day fit, Lakers fans? We've got the latest collection of items to add to your closet this season. Head over to LakersStore.com. That's LakersStore.com. And snag a jersey, tee, hat, and more to rep the purple and gold. We've got the whole family covered with styles for mom, dad, kids, and babies too. Rep the purple and golden style. Check out the LakersStore.com. That's the LakersStore.com. Let's go, Lake Show.
Hey, it's Mace. NFL fans, big news. We've got a major shakeup here in town with the Los Angeles Rams. That's right, Rams bringing in some huge talent, and it didn't require any trades or clearing any salary cap space. The Rams have brought on the one and only Jacob Emrani as their chosen legal partner. So remember, Rams fans, when you're injured, call the chosen legal partner of your favorite team, called Jacob.
Accident or injury, call Jacob Emrani. Call Jacob.
Score a win with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup options. Amazon Pickup is a convenient and secure way to collect your Amazon packages from locations that are near you. Choose an Amazon locker or counter. Whether you're hustling between home, work, or your usual game day spots, grab your packages on your schedule. Amazon Pickup is the worry-free option for the times when home delivery isn't ideal. To find your nearest Amazon Pickup location, go to amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Lakers Talk continues on 710 ESPN.
The last stop of the Lakers road trip hits Memphis tomorrow night, and LeBron is staying positive after losing 3 of the last 4.
Keep doing what we want to do. Keep showing up the work and putting the time in and implement what the coaches want to do and staying positive. No matter what's going on the floor, there's always ways we can get better, and sometimes it's not as bad as it always looks. You just get better.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
More Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky right now.
Quincy Jones was behind this?
Quincy Jones produced this song by Leslie Gore, which is a classic song from the 60s.
Okay, it is official. Quincy Jones produced every damn thing.
Everything.
Like every...
Digging in the crates today, Andy.
Wow. I like to think that I know a decent amount of his discography. I had no idea that he was behind this. Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. The Lakers are going to be in Memphis tomorrow. Obviously, that game will be covered right here on 710 ESPN. What time does pregame start?
Pregame starts tomorrow at 3:30.
3:30. And to talk about the game tomorrow and what's up with their opponent, the Memphis Grizzlies, joined by Molly Morrison. She's an NBA content creator for Bleacher Report. She is also a massive Grizzlies fan, dare I say a super fan, and a really fun follow on Twitter at Molly Hannah M. So wanted to get her perspective. Molly, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Love the description. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing very well. Just trying to keep my mind off the insanity. The Grizzlies are
right.
I've not. This is the longest I've gone without looking at Twitter in a long time. The Grizzlies are 4-4. I'm not even allowing you to potentially comment. I don't want to know anything. The Grizzlies are 4-4. They're coming off a loss to the Nets. They've had a lot of guys hurt. They are, though, they've been like a kind of a sexy preseason. They're being ignored. Y'all have forgotten about them team. What's been the state of the Grizzlies so far?
Injuries, unfortunately. We thought after last season things were grim. We're like, okay, fresh slate. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. The 2 bright spots of last season when all of our starters were injured were Vince Williams and Gigi Jackson, who now, as fate would bring it, are unfortunately both injured. So we have these guys back, and then it's like, okay, well, the 2 pieces of depth you were really excited to bring to that are hurt now. And then in the last couple of games, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane have been injured. We have some other wing injuries as well. So the state of the team is that Ja Morant did not miss a beat, which we didn't expect him to. He looks incredible. But it's also, Jaren Jackson looks wonderful. There are some exciting pieces of depth, some of which we can thank you guys for. But
yeah, we're going to get into that, Molly.
Like, oh, don't worry, we'll cover it. Yeah, it's like I kind of feel like I'm just going to keep saying when we're healthy, but it's sort of that type of thing. I don't think Grizzlies fans are super excited about the start. I also don't think they're super worried. It feels sort of like, okay, I'm cool with it. Let's just see where we go from here.
You mentioned Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart. The last I saw, they were listed as week to week. Do you get any sense if they're going to be available tomorrow?
They will not be available tomorrow.
Okay. Well, this then shapes up a really fascinating matchup. We're talking with Molly Morrison, NBA content creator for Bleacher Report. She's a Grizzlies super fan. Follow her on Twitter, Molly Hannah M. On one hand, you've got the Grizzlies basically with no wings, but they've got Ja Morant and all of their bigs. And Anthony Davis, we don't know about his availability tomorrow. He's dealing with this heel injury. The Lakers have also had difficulties protecting the paint. They've had a difficult time stopping second chance points, stopping things in transition. And the Grizzlies have been living in the paint, living in transition. Yeah. How do you expect them to go about attacking the Lakers?
Well, I think it's really all about if AG is healthy, but let's just go with AG being healthy. I feel like it all comes down to trying to make sure he does not score 20 points and, get like 20 rebounds. We need to figure out how to best stop him, and the only way we can do that is with the length we have. We have obviously Edie 7'4", and then you've got Jaren. I would say will probably be on LeBron. We'll probably go to I don't know, maybe some switching there, but we'll probably look at Edie versus AD, and then I have a feeling Edie, because Edie's looked great, but Anthony Davis, you could argue, is like the best big in basketball right now, and I'm not sure that he's going to be able to keep up with him. I have a feeling he'd get in early foul trouble, and then you've got Santi and your old pal Jay Huff. I think we're going to just try a few different things. Like I said, it's one guy you're trying to really stop in the paint, and then you guys are probably going to eat a little bit from behind the three-point line. I can't lie.
I don't
have wings, like you said.
Why is Memphis struggling to score? I mean, is Memphis struggling to guard the three-point line? Because the Lakers don't take any, Molly.
You don't?
No. That was supposed to be the thing that was going to change. JJ Redick's
from the games I watched, you guys were. So I guess you followed.
No. Remember, JJ Redick was kidding that he wanted the team to put up 50 a night, and everybody took that seriously. They're dead last in the league right now, the Lakers, in three-point attempts. They're taking fewer than they did last year.
Wow. Well, what I want to know is, not to get on a tangent, we don't even have to.
No, do it.
Looking at the box scores from the games I don't watch, I wonder why Knecht isn't getting more minutes, because that dude to me seems like a guy who can come in and be an NBA player right away. I just feel like I'm not sure why he's not getting more minutes. Is that a thing within Lakers fans? Do y'all want to see that?
It's funny you mentioned this, Molly. I was actually just talking about that. I would like to see Dalton Knecht get more minutes, in part because I want to see that three-point volume go up, and he is a three-point shooter.
Oh, and it will. It will. He is not afraid to shoot it.
I know.
He will make it most of the
I
time.
know. Actually, he is a Tennessee product, so you are likely quite familiar with him as well. But the Lakers bench isn't scoring at all. Dalton Knecht leads the bench in scoring, and he's averaging less than 8 points a game. So, I agree. They actually need to play him more. I suspect he's not playing because Reddick is concerned about defensive issues with him, and I understand it. But at the same time, I think he needs to just be more willing to roll with it, because they need more production, and he's the only guy that can really offer it.
And, he went to Tennessee to literally improve his defense and play under Rick Barnes, and that is something that got a lot better. Obviously, there's going to be a learning curve when you go to the NBA, but I think that's pretty – speaking of someone who is excited about the return of Luke Kennard right now, I feel like if you're a shooter, if you're a bucket, you're a bucket. I don't think defense is any reason, especially because it has improved a lot, and he has the athleticism in the lane, so – yeah, I don't know. Interesting there. But you talk about the bench not having production. It's so funny because, like I said, looking at the Lakers box scores, when I'm not able to catch a game, it's like y'all starters play, like a lot of teams, like 30-plus minutes. For us, it's like we have everyone getting minutes. it's actually kind of surprising when you look at like who has the most minutes played. You'll be like Jake LaRavia instead of Ja and Jaren and like Jalen Wells. So yeah, it's like another part of the Grizzlies right now is just this like it's almost too much depth that it doesn't seem like we quite know what to do with. But it's just early in the season figuring it out. But I think it'll be an interesting game for sure. I'm excited for it.
Talking with Molly Morrison, NBA content creator for Bleacher Report, Grizzlies superfan. Maybe the Lakers and Grizzlies can work out some type of trade if you have too much depth. The Lakers could use a little bit more. You mentioned Zach Edey, Dalton Knecht, a rookie. What's been the story on him, like positives, negatives, strengths, weaknesses? Because I think that is a matchup that a lot of Laker fans are going to be looking forward to.
Yeah, Zach Edey is a player who just is going to fit into this team so well. I feel like I said this going into the league. People were so focused on what he can't do well, and it's like instead of what he can do well, and what he can do is just so much more important. Last night, was that last night? Yeah. Today has literally felt like a million years. Mm-hmm. Last night got to see him in person, was the best game we've seen from him. He was just doing it on both ends. The biggest thing for me was just that he looked so comfortable. The guy is 7'4". He can move his feet well. He has good touch, and he is there to not just wait, because the ball will come to him. The boards will come to him. He was going out there and attacking to get it. And, he was, 11 for 12. That's not going to happen a lot. But you mentioned the Lakers having trouble in the paint right now, not having that depth there. The Nets also did not have that, and that's where he was able to really thrive. So I think if AD is out, he could really have some fun. But yeah, he's been really great, and like a lot of the things that he's going to help the Grizzlies with are things that Steven Adams was helping the Grizzlies with, plus just the excitement level there of just having that young center to come join the pick and roll game with Ja. It's really cool, and just getting those second chance baskets, just him being there, able to put the ball back in, it's huge. We've needed rebounding so badly. So
you mentioned
I'm a big fan.
You mentioned old friend Jay Huff, once a G League member of the South Bay Lakers. He's now in Memphis. So is Scottie Pippen Jr., and this is coming at a time when the Lakers front office, scouting department, all that is starting to get some questions about their talent evaluation abilities, and also, too, their ability to develop young players. Max Christie just got a big contract. He's underwhelmed so far. Jalen Hood-Schifino just had his third-year rookie deal option decline. Maxwell Lewis does not, frankly, look like an NBA player. With that in mind, are Pippen Jr. and Huff a potential salt wound rubbing development for Laker fans?
I regret to inform you that it.
You don't regret it, Molly.
Be
honest. You don't regret it.
No, I find a lot of pleasure in informing you that yes. I mean, that's what the Grizzlies front office has just been masters at these last couple of years. Just look at it that way. Look at it as the Grizzlies front office being great and not the shortcomings of yours. But yeah, I mean, it's wild that they've been able to turn these undrafted second round guys into legit huge role players to be in the roster. Them two are great examples of that. Like I said before, Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams, two guys. It's like funny because we'll have a guy that we draft in the first round, and it's like for years we're trying to figure that out and see if he can be an NBA player. But hey, we've got these other ones. Jay Huff, I will say, I think these are very different situations. Jay Huff's obviously a bit older. It's the sort of thing where he's so fun. I mean, he's got one of those games that's just like the eye test. It will pass 100%. He's going to make threes. He has that signature reverse alley-oop that's sick to watch. He'll block shots. So I feel like those things make it seem like he's the greatest basketball player in the world. When you're watching him, you're like, wait, is this Porzingis mixed with Karl Anthony Towns, mixed with just everything? So yeah. However, he is 27. I think he's 27. He's been on different teams. Not saying I'm not optimistic, but I think he'll be a great 4th, 5th big on the roster. So yeah, it's not like he's going to come in and be an all-star. But yeah, I am very excited about that. He's just obviously getting more run. And like I said, the things that he does well are just so unique and exciting that it makes it seem like he's everything. That being said, Scottie Pippen Jr., I am a big fan. Yeah, he's special. He's literally come in. He's 6'1", obviously comes out of college, a big scorer. But in the NBA, it's hard to be a scorer when you're 6'1". So the way he's developed his game, with just like the playmaking and the passing, I mean, him and Ja are literally top 5. It might not be current, but they were both top 5 in assists.
Wow.
In the whole NBA. That's insane. It's so cool to watch him. And like, you know, he was just dominating in Summer League, and he's come in and really just gotten that backup point guard spot. And like, that's his. And it's really, really exciting to watch. So,
well, we're going to leave it there, Molly, because I frankly don't want to hear anything else. This is Molly.
I could go on. But...
I know you could, and that's why I'm going to stop you. This is Molly Morrison, NBA content creator for Bleachers Report. She is a Grizzlies super fan, as you can tell. Very fun follow on Twitter at Molly Hannah M. Appreciate the time. Great meeting you. Thank you.
Yes, lovely to meet you. Thanks.
Yeah, we really did not need to hear that about Scottie Pippen Jr. Undersized point guard that's able to distribute. I mean, look, I'll be honest. I did not see that coming for Pippen this year when he was with the Lakers with the G League. Like, in fairness to the Lakers and South Bay and, you know, Jesse Buss, Joey Buss, all those guys. But it's also not my job to see it. Like, if I miss it, as much as I'd like to think that, you know, my analysis matters, in reality, it doesn't matter if I don't see it. They're supposed to see it. And if it turns out Scottie Pippen Jr. really is an NBA player that had the Lakers dedicated more resources towards, he could have helped them this year, that I'm not going to lie. That hurts. 877-710-ESPN if you want to weigh in on anything Molly said about tomorrow's game in Memphis, anything we've talked about with the Lakers, last night's loss in Detroit, whatever. Again, 877-710-ESPN. Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, 710 ESPN.
Just like the Lakers have a game plan on the court, you should have a Go Safely game plan off the court. If you plan to drink, plan for a designated sober driver. If you're the designated sober driver, move over a lane when you see amber flashing lights on Caltrans, law enforcement, or other emergency vehicles or tow trucks. If you can't move over safely, slow down and be work zone alert. Go Safely, California, from the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
When addiction takes hold, it's easy to feel like no one can help. But you're not in this alone. For 75 years, Hazelden Betty Ford has been at the forefront of addiction and mental health care, evolving treatment, reimagining recovery, and breaking through barriers to help families everywhere find healing. So please reach out at 855-672-1828. Help is here. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation and aired by the California Broadcasters Association and this station.
Next Gen is the official plumbing, heating, and AC company of SoCal sports fans. For just $14.99 a month, enjoy year-round coverage for all your plumbing, heating, and AC needs. No unexpected timeouts, just total peace of mind. As a Next Gen member, you get complimentary multi-point tune-ups, annual water heater flushes, plumbing safety inspections, and VIP 2-hour priority service. Don't miss out. Call 833-3-NEXGEN today or visit nextgenaaronplumbing.com.
NEXGEN, call 833-3NEXTGEN.
The season of savings is on, and George Chevrolet is bringing you the best offers to help you drive into the holidays in style. That's right, George Chevrolet, your 6-time Chevy Dealer of the Year, is dedicated to earning your business by saving you money. Shop from their wide inventory of the latest Chevy models, like the redesigned Chevy Traverse, the all-electric Chevy Blazer EV and Equinox EV, Silverado, Trax, and more. Visit George Chevrolet off the 91 Freeway, Lakewood Exit in Bellflower, or online at georgechevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text STAY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text STAY to 42424. That's STAY to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is Lakers Talk with Andy Kamenetsky on 710 ESPN.
It was a disappointing loss in Detroit last night as AD battled through a hurt ankle.
And Anthony Davis is now down on the ground, writhing in pain, holding his left ankle.
I've been managing it since this summer, honestly, and just, trying to do everything before games, be on the floor. I just kind of just landed directly on the spot that's been killing me. So we'll figure it out.
It's the home of the Lake Show and the home of Lakers Talk.
Lakers Talk is presented by Hoag Orthopedic Institute. When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. Visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com to get the help you need today.
Back to Andy Kamenetsky.
Now, I absolutely knew this, the theme from Sanford & Son. I ain't no big dummy. I knew this was Quincy Jones. Honestly, one of the most iconic Quincy Jones tunes of all time. Like, you big dummy. You big dummy. I mean,
I had no idea Quincy Jones did this.
Have you? Okay, I'm assuming because you didn't know this. Andy Kamenetsky, Lakers Talk, ESPN LA 710. Thanks again to Molly Morrison for helping us preview Lakers Grizzlies tomorrow. That coverage begins at 3:30 pregame with Beto Duran. Because you didn't know that Quincy Jones wrote the theme to this. Have you ever heard the extended, full theme?
This is the full extended 3-minute version.
It's awesome. It is awesome.
I couldn't give 50 seconds of justice to, Quincy Jones in the Sanford & Son theme song, so I had to find a longer version of it.
He just let whoever he's with, whoever he arranged it with, whatever, they just go off.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it's so fantastic.
This is probably his best contribute. What's the word I'm thinking? Contribution to the world.
I never get tired of it. Remember, he drove around the big truck, the big junky truck. And if you are in a big junky trunk or any car whatsoever, and you are planning on, say, going to the Lakers on Friday to watch the Lakers take on the Sixers, or watching the game at a friend's house, commit to the Go Safely game plan. If you plan to drink, plan ahead. Leave the keys behind. Get a sober designated driver. Whatever you do, don't let yourself or your friends land a technical foul by driving impaired. Even the slightest impairment can hinder your ability to drive safely. Celebrate a sober ride home. That's always a win. Don't let friends drive drunk. Don't let yourself drive drunk. Go Safely California from the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans. We were talking earlier about Cam Reddish, potentially at least, entering the rotation. What could be the first big tweak for J.J. Redick in terms of inserting either a new presence into the rotation or doing something fairly dramatic in terms of whatever tweaks he makes. And this is coming off a very disappointing loss last night against the Pistons in Detroit, 115-103. And also what is shaping into a disappointing road trip. If they win tomorrow in Memphis, go 2-3, it's not disastrous. I think it's going to feel disappointing considering they started 3-0 and the vibes were immaculate, but it's not disastrous. You go 1-4, obviously the season's not over, but you start feeling worse and you start thinking about what other changes could potentially be afoot before J.J. Redick can start inserting guys like Christian Wood Jared Vanderbilt, who are currently not available for the team. I've been wondering, given the lack of bench production, if and when J.J. Redick might decide to, and this would strike some Laker fans as pulling a Darvin Ham, decide to move either D'Angelo Russell or Austin Reeves to the bench. Like, I think the more likely candidate would be D'Angelo Russell, which I'd be fine with. I'd be fine if it was Reeves, but if I had to guess, I think it's going to be D'Lo. What I think is interesting about this, and you guys can weigh in on it as well, is I think what could help if you have to do this, because it is always a delicate ego dance that you have to play with these guys when you move somebody to the bench. You can look both D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves in the eye, even with both of them being inconsistent, particularly D'Lo as a scorer this year, and say, look, man, the problem's not you. It's the rotation as a whole. I need to fix something. I need somebody to work, more concentrated with their minutes with the bench. I need you to do this for the team. It's truly not about you. Do you think that could be a workable selling point? A, if you need to make this happen. B, do you picture this as something that could happen?
Honestly, I think you can have this conversation with Austin Reeves, but when it comes to D'Lo, I don't, from his history, I don't know because he seems like a guy that could take this the wrong way, and like when you take it the wrong way, his plays start to go down from there.
I mean, we seen it last year when he moved to the bench. I mean, he started sitting on the end of the bench and like not being involved in the huddle, and then when timeouts were called, he wasn't being involved in the timeouts, and he kind of made it the a thing about himself, in which he apologized.
Yeah.
He came in earlier this season and apologized for it, but you got to be able to respond well if things happen, just to better the team overall.
Well, this is where, DeAndre, you just mentioned, I think this is good, that D'Angelo Russell called himself out for the bad body language and the bad handling of it, because if, say, 10 to 15 games in, and I want to make it clear, this is nothing that I've heard is going to happen. This is just something that I've been wondering about, because the bench for this team, as we've talked about a lot over the last hour and 40, it's a problem. And it's a problem that for the time being, with Christian Wood injured, Jared Vanderbilt not available, if for no other reason than just to give you different floor combinations. Like, Vando's not a scorer, but he can give you more optionality to, say, move Rui to the bench, just as an example. And for the time being, Redick seemingly reluctant to give extended minutes to Dalton Knecht. You don't have a lot of other options other than splitting up that backcourt, which, frankly, has defensive issues on its best day anyway. In that sense, it's maybe helpful that D'Lo called himself out already, because if he says that, at media day, and then can't take one for the team early on in the season when it's very clear the team needs this, I'd like to think D'Lo can be cognizant enough to recognize he's heading into a contract year. This is something of his reputation anyway. It's in his best interest to be a soldier about it.
And also, putting D'Lo on a bench might bring Gabe Vincent into the starting lineup, and it might get him going because he's had a bad start to the season.
Well, that's part of it too. Like, one way or the other, I think we're going to see that reserve backcourt of Christie and Vincent broken up, because it's not working. Like, there's just no offensive production of any kind, whether you're talking about scoring, playmaking, helping even generate offense. It's not there, and neither one of them are defending at a high enough level that you can make up for the absence of both of them being just offensive black holes at the moment. Like, they're not doing anything.
Maybe just me I don't know if I want to take it too far or not, but it seems like
it too far, DeAndre.
Maybe it's like ever since Gabe Vincent came to the Lakers, granted that he was hurt all last year, but when he had that Heat run, when they made it to the finals, it seemed like that level of production has dropped. And I don't know if it's because more of it's just the system, the way the Heat system is, and it fit his style of play, or just that he's just not a great fit for the Lakers.
Here's the thing with Gabe, and it's interesting, DeAndre. I've been looking up his usage numbers, and they are way down from Miami, like really far down, particularly for somebody that's supposed to be a ball-handling point guard. I can't entirely decide if his role has been too vaguely defined or if he's just not finding a comfort zone. But you are 100% correct. Right now, he does not look like he has a place on this team. Max Christie's not playing his role well, but I know exactly what his role is. I can define it. He's just not doing it well enough. I can't figure out what Gabe Vincent's role is. And I'm not even saying it's entirely his fault. I mean, he's not playing well, but he's the only guy in the rotation that I cannot figure out exactly what he's supposed to be doing.
I thought he was supposed to be brought in to take the smaller guards and to shoot threes. That's what I thought he was being brought in for.
Well, he's not shooting at all. And then when he
with the Heat, he was getting all the 50-50 balls, diving on the floor. He made some big plays as far as rebounding too, but it just seems like the energy and the drop-off just, went downhill.
Well, this is also the problem, too, with Vincent, and we're going to get to crunch time in a second. Vincent's often been brought in as a defensive substitute down the stretch in crunch time. And I think that is, reflecting of Reddish trusting him. He's a veteran. I think he does not make a lot of mistakes when he's out there. He's reliable. He's predictable. But he's also, like you said, DeAndre, he's small. And he's often targeted when he's out there. And when your defensive sub is targeted, that's a flaw in your approach. Again, I get why Reddish goes there, but you can't have your defensive sub targeted, and he's targeted because he's small. That's why they're going at him.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes moving forward. Again, I am not saying I've heard anything about that radical of a change. I would predict it's not going to happen tomorrow in Memphis, but it is something I've been thinking about because for the time being, the whole bench thing is something that is not working, and Reddish needs to figure out some ways to fix it. We are going to close out next with a little crunch time. Funchy's going to lead it. Lakers talk. Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN.
Lakers fans, have you seen the purple and gold live this season? Still have time to grab your seat with Lakers Ticket Exchange, the official resale marketplace of the Los Angeles Lakers. Your ticket purchase is 100% verified and secured with Lakers Ticket Exchange. Go to Lakers.com/ticket exchange on your computer or mobile device. Find your seats and you are set. That's Lakers.com/ticket exchange. Let's go, Lake Show.
You never expect a game-ending double play, walk-off grand slam in the World Series, or getting into an accident. Hey, it's Travis with DeMarco and Evan Cohen.
Only one all-star team you can call to pinch hit for you, the personal injury law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Visit normandlegal.com or call this number, 213-747-2000.
Don't get struck out by others. Joseph will help you achieve the maximum compensation that you deserve. Visit normandlegal.com or call 213-747-2000.
Let Joseph and his team hit it out of the park for you.
Hey kids, Uncle Artie here from Pernia Law, here to tell you about a newer sponsorship deal with Matt Barnes, who has deep LA roots, former Bruin and pro basketball player for both LA teams.
If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. And there's never any upfront fees. They collect when you collect. And for the record, their win-loss record puts them in the top of the standings. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
ESPN LA and Beverly Hills Orthodontics are teaming up this fall because we want to know who's smiling in SoCal. Go to ESPNLA.com and nominate who you think is making LA a better place. This can be a mentor, a teacher, a coach, a good Samaritan, a youngster who brightens your day. Tell us who's smiling and you could win some awesome prizes like sweet tickets from ESPN LA, Sonic Care electric toothbrushes, whitening treatment, and a grand prize of Invisalign from Beverly Hills Ortho. Enter now at ESPNLA.com and remember you're always smiling at Beverly Hills Orthodontics.
Hey guys, it's Cappy here, and let me talk to you about this issue of dealing with your homeowner's insurance. So your home floods, right? You have a big giant flood at your house, and you realize that the insurance adjuster is trying to pay you so little that you won't be able to repair the damage. That is when you call Avner Gatt. Avner Gatt is a public insurance adjuster who is on your side. Look, you can try and negotiate with the insurance company yourself. I've tried. You're going to find out very quickly it is not that simple. Avner Gatt and his team negotiate on your behalf to make sure you're getting the best possible outcome, not the insurance company. He and his team have been dealing with insurance companies for so many years. It's all they do. They've got the experience. They've got the industry know-how that you need on your side. Now, some of these folks used to work for insurance companies before they joined Avner's team, and Avner Gatt himself has 20 years of experience in this industry. Avner Gatt has one of the largest teams of professional, licensed public adjusters in California, and yes, the size is important. Avner has a unique winning recipe for handling homeowners' insurance claims. No one, and I mean no one, messes around with Avner Gatt and his team. Call Avner Gatt, 818-917-5256, 818-917-5256, or visit AvnerGatt.com. That's AVNERGAT, AvnerGatt.com. You call Avner Gatt, 818-917-5256. Avner takes the call himself. Hello!
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
It's crunch time on Lakers Talk.
When the clock is ticking and it's all coming down to the wire, you know what that means.
This is crunch time.
All right, Lakers Talk, Andy Kamenetsky, 710 ESPN. We're going to close out the night with a little crunch time, led as always by Funchy. What you got?
All right, Andy. Former 2020 Laker champions Dwight Howard, Danny Green were on a podcast. I don't know which if it was on Danny Green's podcast or Dwight Howard's podcast. Everyone got a podcast nowadays. So they said that they could have won 2 championships if the 2020 Lakers team would have stuck together.
I think if we stayed together, I think we for sure would have got one more championship.
Yeah.
People say 2 or 3.
I say 2, man.
It's very hard to go back to back, but I think we had a really good group. And we would have got one more.
You said you guys weren't even tired after you guys won these games.
We had so many guys that rotate, even if it was injuries. We had guys that step up.
JaVale split minutes.
The deepest team that I feel like I was a part of.
So from your point of view, why do you think that team was broken up?
I saw JaVale said it was overthought. I think that's part of it. Ultimately, it started with not be able to pay guys fully first, right? I think Doe left because they couldn't pay him. I think that's when it kind of crumbled. When you let Dwight and JaVale go, your defensive, front court, and then your wing perimeter defense with KCP, Alex Caruso, and myself. I was traded because they wanted, LeBron to take less off the ball.
Yeah, with Schroeder,
which never happens. LeBron is Bron. He's going to do what he does, and he's going to be on the ball.
All right, sounds like 2 guys that just wish that they stuck around and got a chance to defend their title. Andy, what do you think? Do you think they could have brought home one more chip if they would have kept this whole team together in 2020 or 2021?
Would Danny Green or Dwight Howard's presence have prevented Anthony Davis from getting hurt in the playoffs? Because if the answer is no...
Well, the ripple effect. If you think about that, if they would have stayed with the team, maybe AD never gets injured.
I mean, is Danny Green a doctor?
I don't know.
Is he a physical
I saw
therapist?
him Grey's Anatomy one night.
I mean, look, I'm a big Danny Green fan, and Dwight was a great reclamation story in 2020, and he played a role that a lot of people weren't convinced he would do. Shout out to both of them. They were a big part of that 2020 championship. Absolutely. But I understand why the Lakers felt like coming off the bubble with a really short offseason that they could not run everything back. Like, they needed some fresher legs, which is why they traded for Dennis Schroeder. Danny Green is correct both in that they wanted someone to help LeBron get off ball a little bit more, and also that in the end LeBron is never off ball. But Schroeder played good defense for them. Like, he had a good season for them. They brought in Montrezl Harrell, who was helpful during the regular season.
Just disappeared in the playoffs, though.
I didn't expect him to be good in the playoffs.
Was Marc Gasol on that team?
Marc Gasol was on the team. He eventually, though, got COVID. He never really quite fit in. Then they brought in Andre Drummond. But Anthony
I don't understand why that never worked.
He and AD never really got to play together because AD got hurt some. Like, there were some injuries down the stretch of it, but the Lakers opened that season 21-6. Like, they were having a really good year. Then AD got hurt for 2 months. And then some other stuff happened after he came back. And then AD got hurt during the Suns series. They were up 2-1 over the Suns. Like, I'm not saying that they automatically would have won the whole thing, gone back-to-back, had AD not gotten hurt. I do think they would have won that series. In the meantime, like, Dwight, dude, we get it. You never wanted to leave. Like, stop. He's becoming like...
Oh, my goodness.
He's becoming John Cusack and Say Anything, like, outside the window holding up the boombox. Like, seriously, he's like outside... He's like outside the Lakers facility, like outside Genie's window.
He was literally at the game last week. I forgot which one. With his Dancing with the Stars partner.
Dude, he and Genie did an interview recently where Genie was like, dude, your agent's the one that screwed this up. We were going to plan to bring you back. Like, enough, Dwight. And then the third time they brought Dwight back, honestly, he wasn't good. Like, and he wasn't that great in Philly either. Like, again, respect for what he
still
brought
remember
to the
the bring Dwight back thing at the side of Staples
Stay
Center.
D12.
Yeah, Stay D12. Oh, yeah.
That was on so many levels embarrassing. Although Khobi, because Khobi was always great at getting the last word. Do you remember this? After Dwight left, which, by the way, from all reports, Khobi at the pitch meeting with Dwight was basically just daring him to leave. Like, you want to go?
No way.
This is where a lot of reports were. But after Dwight left, Khobi just posted on social, on Twitter, a picture of him and Powell. I was like, dude's always going to get the last word. You're never going to get the last word against Khobi. Not going to happen. And look, again, Dwight, props for coming back, again, doing things the right way. He was an important part of winning that championship, and obviously Danny Green was too. Danny Green had a hell of a career. 3 championships as an I believe either undrafted or late second round.
I think it was a second rounder.
Yeah, but late second round. And, I have a lot of respect for Danny Green. He was a really good guy in that locker room. Like, I really enjoyed being around him. But I think had Anthony Davis, like a lot of things with the Lakers, if AD stays healthy, they're a really, really good team. Thank you to everybody for joining in tonight. Thanks to Khobi Price. Thanks to Molly Morrison. Obviously, thanks to DeAndre. Thanks to Funchy. The Lakers will be in Memphis tomorrow, 5th game of this roadie final game. Pre-game coverage begins at 3:30. Tip-off at 5, 710 ESPN.